that freak?
Seems like a nice guy, and he just exudes macho.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
All right, welcome to it, the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990.
Yes, have some.
Online at KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on both YouTube and Facebook. Just go find Nation of Jake on either platform and check out the live stream. Also, you can holler at me on Twitter at Nation of Jake. Pretty much wherever you go on the internet on this Friday, June 7th, year of our Lord 2019, or any other day, Nation of Jake everywhere. Tell your friends, and let's grow it to be a nation of diversity and a nation of laws. Actually, it's just a lawless nation. We make it up as we go along here. 78 degrees, cloudy in our East Memphis studios. I think some rain is falling. It's supposed to be pretty steady the rest of the weekend. Some flooding. Last night, it was raining and raining hard for a long time. I woke up at about 2:37 a.m. just going, oh no, now my foundation is crumbling. And I've got this whole, I'm shook. I'm shook by the whole I had some foundation issues with the house some months ago. So anytime water gets anywhere near my foundation, when the gutters can't even handle all that hard rain for that long, I freak out and I worry about things. I can't do anything about it right then. Just need to go clear the gutters out, make sure water is flowing away from your house. Some people, they got their vehicles flooded down in Olive Branch. So if you're out there, some people's power got knocked out and still may be knocked out. Some serious storms coming through the Mid-South. So be safe out there. This weekend, the rain will continue, so stay inside or go out and rent a boat or something like that. Just a few things in the news today, which is good, because without any bombshells or without any sagas, we got a bunch of Friday stuff to cover. NASA is going to use the International Space Station as an Airbnb and charge people ungodly amounts of money to go stay in it. We will talk about that coming up. Also, are Donald Trump's tariffs on Mexico working? And they might be. We'll talk about that as well. Turns out someone found Dracula's old balls in Bulgaria. Where else would they be? We'll talk about that story in just a little bit. And we've got our what the hell stories. We've got hate mail. We've got the news crews. But first up in the Nation of Jake today, we got to talk about old Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, the front runner in the Democrat nomination for 2020. He's doubling up everybody. I think people like Joe Biden's experience. I think they see him as a moderate. They see him as electable. They see him as the man who can take down Donald Trump. He's leading Donald Trump in the polls in Texas, of all places. But it's been a rough couple of days for Joe Biden. All right, nobody likes a flip-flopper. All right, there's Bernie Sanders out there who has been saying the same thing since the 80s. Since he was the mayor of Burlington, Vermont, he has been saying the same things. He's been praising Russia. He loves communism. He loves food lines. He loves socialism. And he has been saying this forever. So at the very least, Bernie Sanders is a principled communist. I don't want to see any kind of communist in the White House, but at least Bernie Sanders is real. Joe Biden is the opposite of Bernie Sanders with regards to principles. Joe Biden is an unprincipled hack. The man will do or say whatever is politically expedient at the moment in order to win an election or curry favor with a crowd. All right? That's who he is. Joe Biden, if you asked him if he enjoyed the season finale of Game of Thrones and he didn't know the answer, he would be like, oh, what did you think of the season finale of Game of Thrones? And if you said, well, I thought it was awful, he'd go, oh, yes, so do I. I thought it was terrible. But if you say, no, actually, I thought it was actually really good and well done, he'd go, oh, yeah, I could see that too. I thought it was was pretty decent, and then he will morph into whatever he thinks the crowd wants. It's just mob rule, really. Oh, you didn't like what I said? Oh, I'll change my entire principles for you. Well, it's easy to do when you don't have any principles, and that is Joe Biden. Now, this is terrible for Joe Biden's candidacy. A massive flip-flop like this one. All right, what happened the other day on Wednesday? Somebody in a rope line, you know what the rope line is? When they've got Joe Biden surrounded by ropes, and there's a few journalists who get inside the ropes, but most people have to stay outside the ropes. In a rope line, somebody asked Joe Biden about his support of the Hyde Amendment. Now, the Hyde Amendment is a 4-decade-old ban on federal dollars being used for abortions, except in the cases of rape, incest, or when the woman's life is in danger. All right, and Joe Biden, he said he did not support the Hyde Amendment. And then he said, hold on a second. Oh, the Hyde Amendment. Oh, yes, I do support that. I've always supported that. I misheard you. So on Wednesday, Joe Biden, the electable Joe Biden, the moderate Joe Biden, goes on record and clarifies, yes, I do support the Hyde Amendment. I've always supported the Hyde Amendment. Well, then, all the other Democrat candidates for president, all the interest groups, the Planned Parenthoods and the narrow pro-choice America groups, they all rip Joe Biden for 24 hours about his support for the Hyde Amendment. Now, a little history on Joe Biden and the Hyde Amendment. And this is not a discussion about whether or not the Hyde Amendment is good or bad. I'm not on board with federal dollars being used for abortion. If you want an abortion, go pay for it yourself. I want fewer federal dollars used for most things. All right. So the Hyde Amendment, when was it passed? In 1976. All right. So it's over 4 decades old. Biden voted for it in 1976. Again, in a law banning federal funds to pay for abortion. Not only did he vote for the Hyde Amendment in 1976, and again, Joe Biden's record goes back a long way. All right. So he has a lot of skeletons in the closet. I'm not calling this one of them, but these are all things that can be pointed to show that Joe Biden is unprincipled and he's been on every side of every issue. But surprisingly, this is an issue that he's been pretty consistent on for 40 years. 1976, he votes for the Hyde Amendment. In 1981, the Biden Amendment to the Foreign Assistance Act banned any American aid from being used in research related to abortions. In 1984, Biden supported the Mexico City policy, which bans federal funding for private organizations that provide abortion, advocate to decriminalize abortion, or expand abortion services. So, from 76 to 1984, Joe Biden not only voted for this Hyde Amendment, he's also gone farther in being pro-life or anti-abortion in this case. 1993, Biden votes to save the Hyde Amendment. So that's like voting for it again. In 1995 and 1997, Biden voted for partial birth abortion bans that would be vetoed by Bill Clinton. June 5th, 2019, Joe Biden continues his 40-plus year support for the Hyde Amendment. A day later, Twitter pushed back to Biden in supporting the Hyde Amendment. And on June 6th, that night, Biden caves and drops a 40-year position to appease progressives that are pulling him to the left and pulling him to the left. He now supports taxpayer-funded abortion from conception to crowning. So he's being pulled to the left, being pulled to the left, being pulled to the left. And the thing about Joe Biden, like his whole appeal is that he's a moderate. And so he is going to go ahead and flip-flop on something which, people hate, in order to be pulled to the left, to take away this idea that he's the stalwart, he's the moderate, he's the electable guy who can beat Trump. He's doing this because this is what he's always done. He's always just been an unprincipled hack. But it's only surprising because this is the one issue where he's been pretty consistent. And it goes to it just goes to show, like right now, we're seeing guys say who are Democrats, who are pro-life Democrats, they can't be pro-life Democrats anymore, even if it's in keeping with, say, their local constituents. Governor of Louisiana is a Democrat, John Bel Edwards. He's about to sign in one of those heartbeat bills in Louisiana. He's going to get shunned by the Democrats, by the National Party. Right here in Memphis, Democrat lawmaker in the State House, John DeBerry, he is getting raked over the coals by the Planned Parenthoods and the Shelby County Democrats for his vote on an abortion bill in Tennessee. So it's like you can't think for yourself. You can't take it issue by issue. You have to be lockstep in this party. And if you're not, we will bully you. We won't seek to understand your position. Joe Biden is a Catholic. He's a devout Catholic, he says. And if you're a devout Catholic, you really can't be in favor of abortion. It doesn't jive. I'm sure there are Catholics who are pro-choice. That said, after 40 years, this guy is willing to go, oh yeah, after a little pressure on the internet, I'll change my position 40 years. Oh, nobody likes when you do that. Nobody does. I mean, all politicians do it. And by the way, that whole rundown of Joe Biden throughout the years, that is from an excellent Twitter thread by David Harsiani, who is on Twitter. I liked that tweet. I'm going to retweet the thread so you can go and read it for yourself and share it with your Twitter people. But really, I mean, regardless of where you are on the abortion debate, what about Joe Biden? Like, for 40 years, you have had a position. You've defended your position. You've strengthened your position. You've backed it up by citing your religion as why you feel this way and why your faith leads you to this position. And then within 24 hours, you're willing just to abandon that position altogether for political expediency. This is what people hate about politics. And the only thing that people liked about Joe Biden was he was a little less reprehensible than all the other candidates who are currently talking about communism and late after-birth abortion, whatever it is, like all these outside the mainstream views. So yeah, it's kind of weird that he would do that, because the one thing people saw as his strength being, this moderate Joe. Yeah, listen, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not one of these crazy guys. I'm not one of these Green New Deal guys. Well, we saw it with that too. Now, he came out saying, we need to take a measured approach to climate. And then AOC comes out, no, there's no such thing as a measured approach. And he's like, oh, no, I agree. We're doomed, and we got to do something now. Like, come on, Joe Biden, get out of here. And that's why he probably won't be the nominee. And if he is, I think he's going to get smashed. Because he's going to get pulled so far left. I mean, a lot of these things that the Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warrens that they call for are really unpopular when it comes to, middle America. And you need those voters. So I just thought it was hilarious. I mean, it's in keeping with it. He's a career politician. He's been there forever. But this is just an example of how Joe's long record in government is going to hurt him. Won't help. Helps now. It'll hurt him later in the general election and when these debates really get going. So that's probably the biggest political story today. Some other stories. We got Donald Trump and the tariffs on Mexico. Looks like they may have worked. I mean, I don't like tariffs. That said, Donald Trump is using whatever tools he can to get Mexico to help on immigration. And we'll get into it in a little bit. I think the latest is, looks like they can come to a deal to avoid those tariffs if Mexico can do what they need to do to secure their southern border and keep those Central American migrants from making their way up to the U.S. southern border. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff today. I've got a load of hate mail this week. I guess I made a lot of people angry with my rants about scooters and cat declawing, and God, I forget half the stuff I say. We've also got the what the hell stories, but here's one that is an eyebrow raiser in and of itself. NASA is going to start using the International Space Station as an Airbnb. What'll it cost, man? What'll it cost? I'll tell you next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs, those little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
KWAM, The Voice, salutes our Mid-South seniors and a life well lived. Tune into the Earl Farrell for Memphis show every Monday at 4 p.m. as we hear inspiring stories from local seniors. We'll hear from Jake Shore, who at 78 still goes to work every day and heads up an annual Thanksgiving and Christmas Feed the Needy. We'll talk with Linda Mace, who just turned 80 and leads a weekly yoga class for seniors, plus is the founder of Cloud9 Theater Company. And we'll talk with Leo Raymer, who is an active 90-year-old that when he was in his 70s, sailed around the world by himself. Inspiring stories from Mid-South seniors, Mondays at 4, all month long, right here on The Voice, KWAM.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Live your later years like you're on a fabulous vacation at the Robinwood Retirement Community Bartlett. If you are over 55, come and find out about an all-inclusive resort-style living. Month-to-month rent, meals, paid utilities, free cable, phone, and internet are included. Freedom dining, weekly housekeeping, and fitness center are just a few of the amenities offered. Elegant floor plans include full kitchens. Robinwood is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. Call 901-381-8949 to find the perfect place for you.
ATC Fitness would like to announce their new partnership with Silver Sneakers. That's right, ATC Fitness now accepts Silver Sneakers members. ATC Fitness is your local, family-owned 24-hour gym. Get started on the right track with their easy-to-follow instructions and demonstrations. Remember, if you are a Silver Sneakers member, come to any ATC Fitness throughout the Mid-South. Check them out online at atcfitness.com to find the nearest location to you.
Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice.
Yes, have some.
FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Just find Nation of Jake on either YouTube or Facebook. The live stream is there. Get a look inside the KWAM studio here in East Memphis, where it is raining, about 78 degrees or so. We've got some hate mail coming up. Some what the hell stories as well. I saw this. And look, on Fridays, I don't know why, but the space stuff always comes up. We've talked about going to Mars. Talked about Jeff Bezos wanting to build new planets in outer space and colonize outer space. It'd be neat. It's right out of science fiction. I personally don't see the call for going out to space. It seems real dangerous. Doesn't seem like there's a lot out there, at least for me. Everything I need is right here. All right, so you go out to space, and then what? You go out there. It's a great experience, and if you can afford it, you can go. That's right, NASA now is allowing private citizens to fly to the International Space Station, reversing a long-standing prohibition against tourists at the station, according to the Washington Post. Now, how do they do this? It's the International Space Station. I mean, did they rent out like certain areas of it and now can sublet it to Americans or to private citizens? Doesn't this have to be governed by the International Space Station? Who owns that place? Is it ours? Who's in charge of the International Space Station? I'd like to see the lease agreement. NASA made the announcement at a news conference and said costs and arrangements for flying crews to the station would be left to Boeing Company and SpaceX, the two companies NASA has hired for such trips. NASA would charge people for food, storage, and communication once at the station. You'd be charged for communication. I wonder what that's like. I wonder what the per minute is to call home from the International Space Station. That would amount to $35,000 a night. $35,000 per night on the International Space Station. Now, what about the fare to get there? I guess you'd have to take that up with Boeing or SpaceX. You can't just take a space Uber. There's likely to be a hefty waiting list. NASA said in a statement they can accommodate up to 2 short-duration private astronaut missions each year, and up to 12 private astronauts will be able to visit the International Space Station each year. So only 12 people per year and 2 trips. NASA Chief Financial Officer Jeff DeWitt, speaking in New York during the announcement, said, NASA is opening the International Space Station to commercial opportunities and marketing these opportunities as we've never done before. They will also allow film crews to shoot from the ISS as part of its commercialization. In 2018, the International Space Station celebrated its 20th anniversary of being launched into orbit. It has been occupied since November 2000. The new and very wealthy space tourists would not be the first private visitors to the International Space Station. However, in 2001, U.S. businessman Dennis Tito paid Russia around $20 million for the privilege. $20 million to go to the International Space Station. I don't know. I mean, could you just get a ride with SpaceX and just go crash on a floor of some buddies maybe you have in outer space? Are there any other places to go stay? Drop me off at the moon? Can I sleep in the spaceship? Go out there. I don't know. Kind of do like we used to do. We used to go on tour. We'd go out for a weekend and go play some shows. Go to St. Louis, go to Springfield, Illinois. Go out to Knoxville, Nashville, and then home, and just find some fans of the band, and then crash on their floor instead of paying $35,000 a night to stay on the space station, and that's for storage. So they're going to pay you. I mean, they're going to make you pay to stow your bags. It's like a bag fee, right? And then also for food. For all that, I guess you have to eat space food. What is it, Dippin' Dots? Ice cream of the future? You get some cool YouTube videos, I'm sure. Get some cool Instagram shots, which you can fake those. I know some people who think that the whole deal's faked. Space travel is all phony. And that trip to the moon, they didn't take it. That'll get you punched in the face by Buzz Aldrin. But think about where we are now. We've got guys like Buzz Aldrin calling for the colonization of Mars, which it's uninhabitable, at least at the moment, either too hot or too cold, and there's no water. The water there is frozen kilometers underground. Then you got Jeff Bezos. Not only does he want to colonize space, he wants to build new planets in space. Elon Musk, who runs SpaceX, I believe, he's already sent a Tesla up in space. They're always launching new rockets into space, so it's inevitable. We will have, some space travel that's going to be at the commercial level. I mean, it already is. This is one way, though, for all those socialists, the democratic socialists, who think that billionaires are immoral. What a way, what a scam. The only people who can afford a $35,000 a night vacation to the International Space Station are going to be the millionaires and billionaires that AOC and Bernie Sanders hate so much. So this is a great way to take their money and then launch them into space. So much can go wrong. Didn't you see Space Camp? By the way, Space Camp, I believe, came out in 1986, where they sent all those kids who were just there for the summer up to space on accident. What a star-studded cast. I mean, look at it. You had Kate Capshaw, you had Leah Thompson, Kelly Preston, a young Joaquin Phoenix, Lamar from Revenge of the Nerds. They were all in it, and they got launched into space accidentally. I mean, they made it back. But think about all the things that can go wrong. You know what happens when a human gets out into space? We saw that in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You throw these people out, you freeze up almost immediately, and you die. No air. You can't breathe. Freeze to death. Your lungs collapse. I mean, if you hold your breath in space, from what I understand, yeah, you'll explode. But what else do you do? There's nothing to breathe up there. So I think this might be a ruse for NASA, which is run by the government, to take money from those evil, immoral millionaires and billionaires and then launch them into space. Go up for 10 days to the International Space Station. I don't know what it'll cost for the ride. That's also, you got to factor it in. I mean, $35,000 a night is just to stay at the hotel. You got to get a ride up there with Boeing or SpaceX. Man, be nice. Be nice to be Dennis Tito, paid $20 million to go up to space with some Russians. Man, the stones on that guy. I don't know what he did to make his $20 million. With a name like Tito, I'm sure this guy's not scared of nothing. I'm going to jump on a spaceship with Russians and go up to the International Space Station. Good Lord, that just gave him a suitcase full of money to do it. Amazing, amazing times we are in. So there you go. NASA, get into the private travel game. Going to go to the ISS. They should do a giveaway. They should do like a big sweepstakes. Go to space. International Space Station, all expenses paid, free Dippin' Dots, the ice cream of the future. How long are they going to call that the ice cream of the future? It's been around since I was a little kid. Man, my kids love the Dippin' Dots. Love them. Seriously, you could offer my kids like tiramisu or something real nice, like a real nice rich dessert. But then you just say, hey, or do you want these Dippin' Dots? Dippin' Dots! Gotta have them. Gotta have them. All right, coming up, we got the hate mail. But first, we got a bunch of stories that make you say, what the hell? We'll do that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. Talks continue between the U.S. and Mexico aimed at avoiding tariffs on Mexican goods, everything from produce to auto parts.
I think we were encouraged that Mexico came prepared to put solutions on the table. But on Wednesday, I think we felt that they were wholly insufficient. They were a step forward, but insufficient.
Mark Shorty's chief of staff for VP Mike Pence.
The legal teams are talking today, and we'll see how that progresses. But it's clear that there's still a long way to go.
CBS's Stephen Portnoy says the tariffs are set to kick in on Monday, and the president has shown no wiggle room.
Just before the president took off for the U.S. after a week in Europe, his press secretary told reporters Mr. Trump's position hasn't changed. Tariffs on Mexican goods, she says, will go into effect on Monday. But here at the White House, a top economic advisor was signaling there's still a chance a deal can be reached. Kevin Hassett said the president will be given an update on Mexico's offer to do more to deter migrants as soon as he gets back.
CBS News Update. I'm Jim Chenevey.
The June edition of the Best Times is now available, and as always, it's filled with valuable and interesting information. There's one article everyone in the Mid-South should read about how and why to protect your identity, especially using your smartphone. Also, there's an interview with the new CEO of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce, Beverly Robertson. The Best Times is available at over 250 locations, including all Kroger stores, CVS pharmacies, the YMCA, and your local library. Pick up your copy and keep yourself informed. You'll be glad you did. Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion.
Planning for retirement can be confusing and overwhelming. Tune in to the Servant Retirement Show to hear the current news and events today's retirees need to know. Every Saturday morning at 8 on KWAM, The Voice, AM 990. If you want to talk to Dan Groban or Philip Menard today about your retirement plans, call the team at Servant Advisors Group, 855-260-1000. That's 855-260-1000. Get started on the path toward a comfortable retirement today. 855-260-1000.
Don't miss Maine and Mulberry Live every Thursday morning at 8 right here on KWAM The Voice. Maine and Mulberry Live explores the crossroads of modernization and small-town tradition, exemplified in Collierville, Tennessee. Host Keith Essery sits down with local entrepreneurs, thriving businesses, city officials, and thought leaders right here every Thursday at 8 a.m. Tune in and learn how a town comes of age with economic growth. Maine and Mulberry Live is brought to you by John Green & Company Realtors, building neighbors for 40 years.
This is Clark Howard. There are multiple suits going on right now against Apple, including one Apple just lost in the U.S. Supreme Court about price fixing, using monopoly power to rip you off if you use an iPhone when you buy apps in the App Store for your iPhone. Well, I want you to know that these suits may take longer to be resolved than people would like, and you may still get gouged if you buy apps or subscribe to services through the App Store. The way around this, if you use an iPhone, is to go to the website of whatever service you want to use. As an example, Spotify or any app you want to buy, go to their website, buy the app or subscribe to it at their website, and then do the free download of the app on the iPhone, and you'll end up typically saving 30% on your purchase doing it that way.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's Home Advisor. Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, and even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
Home Advisor. Chuck Woolery here for Blue Emu. How many pain relief ads do you hear daily? 5, 10, 15? And of course, all of them claim their new ingredient or their new formula will help. Blue Emu has maintained the same quality year after year and continues to be the #1 branded emu oil product. So don't trust hype. Trust Blue Emu to support healthy muscles and joints. Choose Blue Emu pain relief products. They work fast and you won't stink.
Available at retailers nationwide.
All right, welcome back to it. It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice.
Yes, have some.
FM 107.9, AM 990.
Yes, have some.
And online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We are streaming live on YouTube. We are streaming live on Facebook. And the podcast will be up and ready for streamer download in just a little bit, shortly after the program concludes. All right, so hate mail's coming up in just a little bit. Also, did the tariffs on Mexico work? It's a good question. They're negotiating a deal for Mexico to help out with immigration, and it looks like the threat of tariffs may have worked. We will explore that in just a little bit. Right now, I've got a load of stories from the week that I've been collecting.
What the hell?
That make me ask that question, as Jack Burton asked so many times in Big Trouble in Little China.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
Whole movie has no idea what's going on. And with a lot of these stories, I don't either. All right, here we go. The first what the hell story.
What the hell?
Comes from El Sobrante, California. Neighbors are less than thrilled about what Steve Johnson did to replace the dirt lot in front of his home. To match the designs decorating his handrail and doorbell, Johnson had a massive concrete swastika constructed flat on the ground.
What the hell?
I own this house, and I'll put what I want. It ain't none of your guys' business, Johnson told KGO. I like those signs. I think they look cool, and I like them. Cultures from the Eastern Hemisphere have long used the swastika as religious symbols. Generally, those have been left-facing designs. The one used by Nazi Germany, however, was right-facing and tilted, just like the one in Johnson's yard. Even so, Johnson insisted his swastika is not about Third Reich ideology. He says it's a Tibetan sign that's way back before swastikas were invented. Local media asked Johnson if he was of Tibetan heritage. He says, I could be. Renee Schultz, who is one of Johnson's neighbors, is Jewish. She said she is absolutely offended by the symbol, as she would be. All right. Look, yes, the swastika came from, it might have even been some Indian, Hindu, Tibetan. I'm not sure exactly the origin, but originally it was like a peace sign. But it was appropriated by the Nazis, and now it's a Nazi symbol. All right? And so if you are going to put Nazi symbols out in your front yard, you're going to deal with the consequences of people thinking that you are some sort of Nazi. All right? And I'll bet he's going to take a hit on the resale value of that home. Listen, houses in California are expensive. A house like his is a modest home, but it can still go in the low nines. All right? I'm not even sure what the house is worth, so he'll have to go and get a realtor to check the comps around the neighborhood. So I guess we'll see, or maybe in this case, not see. That said, I'm sure that the neighbors rightfully are furious. Furious.
What the hell?
All right, here we go. We got a tale of Florida man. And what is a what the hell segment without the tale of Florida man? Here we go. A Florida man who allegedly stole a car, killed a dog and possibly chickens, and then chased a man with an axe was found naked in a chicken coop on Tuesday.
What the hell?
John Main of Sarasota, Florida, was arrested Tuesday after New York State police responded to a call about an Audi parked facing the wrong direction on Interstate 81, roughly 3 miles from the Pennsylvania border. Oh, so Florida man made it all the way up to New York. Investigators discovered the vehicle was reportedly stolen in Sarasota. Main had allegedly been driving the Audi when he crashed into a guardrail. He then tried to hop on the back of a van, failed, then jumped onto the back of a pickup truck before that driver pulled over, allowing Main to flee into the woods. A search by state police in the Broome County Sheriff's Office ensued, and later, state police received a call from a man who came home from work and found Main in his chicken coop. Main, when asked what he was doing, allegedly said he was killing the chickens. I hope he wasn't choking them. State police said Main chased the man with an axe and rode off after stealing an ATV, which he later abandoned. Soon after, authorities said they received another call about a naked man in another chicken coop, and that's where Main was arrested. He was bitten by a police canine officer in the process. Authorities later learned Main allegedly broke into a home in the area and killed a family dog. Now, you know what? I'm not sure. What is the soundtrack to John Main's night? Probably that, it's got to be that Cougar Mellencamp song, Wild Night. To put your precious juice, I'm gonna choke the chickens until they die and kill your dog. Golly. Old Florida man. Hey, and Florida man, not to be outdone. Here's Florida woman, Palmetto, Florida. A Florida woman,
what the hell,
who stabbed herself multiple times in the abdomen, said she did so because of President Donald Trump. That's right. Responding officers said the woman was found standing outside her apartment Sunday. She lifted her shirt to show 3 stab wounds. I'm tired of living in Trump's country. I'm tired of Trump being president. So she stabbed herself. Those are the reasons. Oh, well, there you go. That you really showed him.
What the hell?
You showed Trump. Stabbed yourself. We've got some more instances of people calling 911 about fast food emergencies. A caller this week contacted the Slidell, Louisiana Police Department to report that an area Taco Bell was out of both hard and soft shell tacos. That is disappointing for sure, but that is not an emergency, and you should not call 911. Next on the list, we've got an Indianapolis man out of Indiana who called 911 to report the theft of his foot-long Subway sandwich. No arrests were made. Not an emergency when somebody steals your Subway club, but it's more of an emergency than what happened with Jussie Smollett. Let's be honest here. That also involved Subway because there was no attack. He made it up. Finally, a 5-year-old called 911 because he wanted McDonald's. I guess he was a hungry kid. I guess that was the emergency, is that he was starving. So he called 911, and the cop brought him some McDonald's, which I thought was very nice of him. Oh, here's one at a mild stomping ground, the Atlanta, Georgia area. This one's a little north of there in Gwinnett County. Police busted a Gwinnett County, Georgia video store they said was not used for movie rentals, but rather an illegal gambling operation.
What the hell?
Now, this is, people have illegal gambling all the time. Sports book running out of the back of a video store. The weirdest thing about this is...
What the hell?
Why would there be a video store open in year of our Lord 2019? If there's a video store that's still open, it makes national headlines, like the last ever Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, or something like that. WSB TV obtained a copy of police body camera footage of officers rushing into the VHS store on Hurricane Shoals Road. Investigators said they'd been watching the place since January and saw lots of customers come and go, but they said no one ever seemed to leave with a VHS tape or even a DVD. Inside were a couple of couches and walls lined with shelving and tapes they believed hadn't been moved in years. What one detective described to me was probably the most recent movie there, and it was available to rent. It was an action movie from 2007. Police arrested the owner, Boonlert Boonsawang. That's his name, is Boonlert Boonsawang. That needs to be in the name of the year bracket right now. He is accused of taking bets on whatever sport was in season. Yeah, running the sports book. Old Boonlert there in Georgia. You need a better front.
What the hell?
Because look, a video store in 2019 is going to raise red flags. All right? That's headline news that there's even one. People will do stories on you. All kinds of unwanted attention if you're running the sports book out of the back of a local video store. Let's see. Here we go. We'll finish it up. Here's a mayor in Alabama. Well, this is the second Alabama mayor story in as many days. This guy didn't kill a raccoon, though.
What the hell?
Alabama mayor suggests killing LGBTQ people in Facebook post. That he said he thought that the post was private. So, listen. Basically, this mayor of Alabama, mayor in Alabama, he doesn't know how to use Facebook. The Alabama mayor, Mark Chambers, of Carbon Hill, which is between here and Birmingham, if you drive that way on I-22, he suggested killing members of the LGBTQ community in a now-deleted Facebook post, but he said that he thought that his comment was private and that it was also taken out of context. Look, everybody wants to always say whenever you do something stupid, say something dumb, that it was taken out of context. And that's kind of like the blanket excuse for every dumb thing anybody ever said. Oh, it was taken out of context. That was selectively edited. But it doesn't matter. If you say something like, if it comes to a revolution in this country, both sides of these people will be killed out. We live in a society where homosexuals lecture us on morals, transvestites lecture us on human biology, baby killers lecture us about human rights, and socialists lecture us on economics. The only way to change it would be to kill all the problem out. I know it is bad to say, but killing them out, there's no way to fix it. He defends himself by saying, I thought it was private. I didn't know anybody was going to see that other than the intended recipients. But that was everybody because you, Mark Chambers of Carbon Hill, Alabama, the mayor of that town, you do not know how Facebook works. So there you have it. There's your
What the hell?
Stories. I've got hate mail coming up. A lot of it this week. Listen, I forget half the stuff I say, so I'm reminded. I have to be reminded sometimes. Pull the tape to actually hear what I'd said, what made you so mad. We'll do the hate mail next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
KWAM, The Voice salutes our seniors all month long. Baby boomers are hitting retirement with vitality and vigor that's redefining how senior communities are designed and healthcare is administered. Estimates show that by 2050, there'll be 83.7 million people 65 and older. On average, seniors are the most affluent demographic in America, with seniors having 5 times the net worth of the average American. Today's seniors are redefining aging. They'll play games remotely with their grandkids or read the news on their iPads. In America, seniors use more internet than any other age group. KWAM salutes our seniors. Brought to you by
Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab, near Forest Hill Irene and Walnut Grove in Cordova. 901-758-0036. Providence Assisted Living in Senatobia. Quality senior living in a caring environment. Call 662-562-9229.
Live your later years like you're on a fabulous vacation at the Robinwood Retirement Community Bartlett. If you are over 55, come and find out about an all-inclusive resort-style living. Month-to-month rent, meals, paid utilities, free cable, phone, and internet are included. Freedom dining, weekly housekeeping, and fitness center are just a few of the amenities offered. Elegant floor plans include full kitchens. Robinwood is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. Call 901-381-8949 to find the perfect place for you. Renew, refresh, and rejuvenate in Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses. After surgery or a hospital stay, you want to get back to your normal lifestyle. If you can't recover at home, Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses provide the transitional care you need to heal mind, body, and spirit. Experienced staff offer physical therapy, speech, and occupational therapy. Enjoy private suites, chef-prepared meals, therapy garden, and more. Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211.
For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS.
That's the number that could save you up to 30% on your energy bills. Call today and Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning will hook you up with an AC tune-up. Right now, save $20 on an AC tune-up. Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning, your hometown Memphis tune-up pros.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
See website for license details.
Seniors of today are living much longer than they have in the past. They want to live active, purposeful lives. Providence Assisted Living is a place where seniors are able to downsize and simplify, but not disengage. There's always something fun going on at Providence Assisted Living. Activities such as bingo, trivia, art class, musical performances, and more. Our residents aren't patients, they're our family. With locations in Senatobia, Batesville, Grenada, and Cleveland, Mississippi, find out more on Facebook or stop by the Providence location nearest to you.
All right, welcome back to it. It's the Nation of Jake.
Yes, have some.
On The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. So go to either one of those for the live stream. Get a look inside the old studio here at KWAM, our East Memphis studios, where it's almost 80 degrees, rainy. It's kind of gross. It's going to be gross all weekend. So what you can do is while you're around the house cleaning up and getting stuff done, catch up on the Nation of Jake podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, wherever fine podcasts are heard. Nation of Jake, everywhere, taking over. Really not. It's just a show if you like shows. All right, so from time to time, I'll get some hate mail. Sometimes it's real hateful. Other times, not so much. comments, suggestions, criticisms, corrections. Sometimes straight up hate. All right. First up in the hate mail, we have Dave in East Memphis writes, Jake, shut up about Mud Island. The place was no fun even when it was nice. Stop acting like the place isn't completely pointless. Thanks, Dave. Look, I might be romanticizing it a little bit. But that said, any facility we have downtown, it should be at least nice. It should be maintained. I mean, whether or not you ever had a good time at Mud Island, and I'll disagree. I've been to a lot of really good shows down at Mud Island. I went to a beer festival down at Mud Island one time, and it was a lot of fun. It doesn't matter if you liked it or not. And maybe I am romanticizing it a little bit. I just go down there and walk around in the Mississippi River replica. I was a kid. I was easily impressed. There was a monorail, dude. The Memphis Belle was there. And it's not there anymore, by the way. The Memphis Belle is not even in Memphis anymore. It's in Ohio. Because Mud Island, where it was housed, is falling apart. Come on, Dave. Don't get on me about that. It's not completely pointless. Although, I mean, you got to have something for people to do down there. I mean, I will agree with you. It's pointless, especially the shape it's in. And if the Memphis River Parks Partnership is going to make all these excuses about, oh, we're not going to fix the monorail because nobody rides the monorail. Well, it's because you're going to monorail them right into a dump. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate the note. Here we go. Jake, ministers ordained online make a complete mockery of religion, and I'm glad they'll no longer to be able to officiate weddings. The state of Tennessee made the right call here. That's from Jeff in Covington. I disagree, Jeff. I disagree. I think that a wedding ceremony should be separate from a couple of people entering into a contract in the eyes of the state. I don't think that they should govern who gets to preside over your wedding. But essentially, that's what they're doing. The government is saying, no. We need to be the ones to decide which ministers are ordained and which ones pass muster for a wedding ceremony in the state of Tennessee. I mean, they do govern marriages. You got to get a marriage license, but that should be separate. If somebody wants to go get ordained by the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster and then have their wedding with colanders on their heads as Pastafarians, they should be able to do that. It's their business, not the state of Tennessee's. All the state of Tennessee needs to be involved in is issuing the license for them to sign off and they enter into that contract, which includes all the power of attorney and all the, she gets half your stuff if you step out on her, that kind of thing. So just keep them separated, as the old Offspring once said. Oh man, I got some more time for hate mail. I love it. Jake, that was just the theme song to Law & Order with you singing over it. It didn't come from NBC. Okay, that's from Karen in Collierville. Okay, Karen, you got me. All right, the theme song to Bluff City Law that I got from NBC really wasn't from NBC. Well, it kind of was, though, because Law & Order is an NBC show. It was the Law & Order theme song, and I was just singing Bluff City Law over it. And yes, you got me. You got such a keen ear, Karen. You're so smart, Karen. You don't understand satire, Karen. Go ask for the manager again, Karen. I bet you got one of those haircuts. Those Kate +8 haircuts, Karen. All right. Did the tariffs work? Donald Trump took all kinds of heat about the Mexican tariffs. They may have worked, guys. We'll find out next in the Nation of Jake.
KWAM, your news and information station, with CBS News updates every hour on the hour. KWAM Memphis. This is CBS News on the Hour. Real news, real reporting.
I'm Jim Shenevy. Time is running out for a deal with Mexico to avoid tariffs on its exports to the U.S. CBS's Stephen Portnoy.
Even as talks continue, and as Mexico offers to put thousands of National Guard troops on its border with Guatemala, the White House says the president's position hasn't changed. 5% tariffs on all goods from Mexico will go into effect on Monday. Mr. Trump told Fox News tariffs are a beautiful thing.
Republicans should love what I'm doing.
Tariffs, he argues, would not only force Mexico to make concessions on immigration, they'd also offer a boost to domestic manufacturing. But critics say American businesses and consumers will pay the price. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
Well, the stock market is having its best week of the year so far, and optimism for a deal to avoid those tariffs is part of the reason. There's also hope for a Fed interest rate cut. The major index is right now up better than 1%, despite that May employment report that showed the economy adding just 75,000 jobs. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
This does start to match some of the things that economists are hearing from larger employers, which is essentially that they're somewhat concerned about the volatility in some of the tariff issues, but also overall global growth, which does not seem to be quite as strong as it was in the first quarter of this year.
Plenty of finger-pointing for an incident in the Philippine Sea where a Russian destroyer was basically playing chicken with a U.S. cruiser. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
The U.S. 7th Fleet said a Russian destroyer put the safety of the guided missile cruiser USS Chancellorsville at risk by approaching quickly from behind and coming within 50 to 100 feet. The U.S. ship was forced to reverse all engines at full throttle to avoid a collision.
Pentagon officials called that Russian action unsafe and unprofessional. Sentencing day for a former Minneapolis police officer in the fatal shooting of an unarmed woman who had called 911.
Mohammed Noor was sentenced to 12 and a half years in prison for third-degree murder, an act the former Minneapolis police officer called a burden that he wishes he could relieve. During the hearing, Noor read a statement in which he apologized for the crime several times. This came after emotional victim impact statements from Justine Rushchik's family, part sorrow for their loss, part critical for actions by Noor and Minneapolis police. Al Shock for CBS News, Minneapolis.
NASA has a plan for making money off the International Space Station by taking up space tourists as soon as next year. The round-trip flight would cost $58 million, plus $35,000 a night for lodging on the ISS. On Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 288 points, or 1.1%. The Nasdaq up 128. This is CBS News.
Would you risk your career or your life to go up against a big company if they were doing something wrong? Meet people who did. Whistleblower on CBS tonight.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-899-8922 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-899-8922. That's 800-899-8922.
Special honors for actor Denzel Washington last night in Los Angeles.
You've been had. You've been took.
From Malcolm X to Glory and Training Day, Denzel Washington's characters have run the gamut. Now, the two-time Oscar winner has received the American Film Institute's Life Achievement Award.
The career is what I'm most proud of. The arc of it, the longevity, the fact that I still have a desire to do it.
Paying tribute to Washington, his Malcolm X director, Spike Lee.
You have somebody like Denzel in your film, you're going to be good. It's like having Jordan, you're going to be good.
Washington thanked his wife Pauletta for 40 years of sacrifice and forgiveness. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Walmart planning to expand its home delivery of groceries to have its employees not only deliver your online order, but even put them in the refrigerator if you're not home. The service will be offered starting this fall in 3 cities, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Vero Beach, Florida. Jim Shenevy, CBS News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-899-8922 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-899-8922. That's 800-899-8922.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990.
Yes, have some.
We're online at KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on the Facebook and on YouTube. Just find Nation of Jake, and there I'll be waiting on you. Podcast coming up in a little bit. Did you hear that story about Walmart's going to have a service where they deliver your groceries? And if you're not home, they will go into your house and put them in your fridge for you? Are we out of problems? Like, really, is that a problem for you? Think about this. In year of our Lord 2019, not only if you don't have time to go to the grocery store, there are outlets like the Kroger or Walmart who will do your shopping for you. Some of those services will deliver the groceries to your house if you can't get out to the store. And if you just can't wait your ass at home for the groceries, say if you have to go somewhere, they will also come into your house and unload your groceries for you into your fridge. Couple of things here. Are we out of real problems? Seriously, man. You just can't get the 15 minutes to get over and get a few things and get them back to your house? I guess maybe if you're one of those food deserts, you're probably not paying people to go shopping for you. The other thing is, do you want Walmart people in your house? You really want the guy from Walmart coming into your home when you're not there and then going through your fridge, rummaging through your stuff? I'm not signing up for that service. I don't need my coffee creamer that bad. I'll use milk or drink it black. All right, and things are going well now for a lot of people. If you watch the news, you don't think it is. You got people in Florida stabbing themselves in the abdomen because Donald Trump is president. But things are going well for a lot of people. Unemployment is still at 3.6%. That's despite the jobs report today that came out not being so great. 75,000 jobs added. They expected 180,000. All right, and so they said not as big a growth as there was in the first quarter. We expected 180,000 jobs. We got 75,000, but still, unemployment is very low, historically low, at 3.6%. Stock market creeping back up. What'd they say? Biggest gains in a year on the stock market. Things are starting to crawl back up. It's so volatile. You know, the president can announce tariffs, and then the stock market can take a dip and everybody freaks out a little bit. But then a week later, everybody's like, wait a second, nothing has really changed. The guy said he was going to put tariffs on Mexico of 5% increments until Mexico does something about their southern border, where people from Guatemala and Honduras are coming up and they're just giving them safe passage all the way through Mexico to the United States. So Donald Trump has said, hey, there's going to be consequences for you guys not taking care of business on your southern borders. That consequence is tariffs 5% every month until they hit 25%. And that is going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt us. Look at our unemployment. Look at our jobs. Look at our stock market. We can weather the storm. You cannot. And listen, I don't like tariffs. I think generally they're a bad idea. But Donald Trump has really gravitated towards the tariff as his Swiss Army knife. He's in a trade war with China. He's going to up the tariffs. And he's got this immigration thing going on with Mexico. He's going to use the tariff. It's one thing that he can do. And that's it. His guys in his own party, they're not even on board with it. What is it, Kennedy? One of the Kennedys, the Republican Kennedy out of Louisiana. He's not a big fan of the tariffs. They're saying that the tariffs have acted as a tax on the American people and that the tariffs have now wiped out any gains made by the Trump tax cuts. These things might be true, and I think generally they're a bad idea. But mind you, the tariffs with Mexico have not been levied yet. What it has done is it's brought Mexico to the table, and they're working out a deal to get things taken care of on the southern border. Here we have Mexico offering to immediately deploy 6,000 National Guard troops to the border with Guatemala. Additionally, Mexico has reportedly agreed to a major overhaul of reasonable asylum protocols, which would require asylum applicants to seek permanent refuge in the first country they arrive in after fleeing their home countries. Now, this is basically what Donald Trump wanted. Now, I don't know if the deal has been done. Donald Trump spoke shortly ago, not long ago, about an impending deal with Mexico. Let's listen to it.
Mexico was in yesterday. They're coming back this morning in Washington. They'll be meeting at the White House. I think a lot of progress was made yesterday, but we have to make a lot of progress. Mexico's been making for many, many years hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, they've been making an absolute fortune on the United States. They have to step up, and they have to step up to the plate.
All right, so they've already offered to say, hey, we will go in and we will regulate our southern border, and anybody coming into our country will have to seek refuge in the first country that they get to that's not their home country. All right, and for most migrants, that would not be the United States. That would be Mexico. All right, so they've already required asylum applicants to wait in Mexico while their claims are processed, saying too many applicants were using the system fraudulently to escape into the country. Last month, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals denied a request to stop that practice temporarily. So you've got Donald Trump. He tried to work with Congress. He tried to go through the courts, and he hasn't been able to do it. So he's going to use the tariffs and force Mexico's hand here. Now, and we talked a little bit about how these tariffs work last week. Yeah, a tariff is a tax on an export, say from Mexico into this country. The importer is going to pay it, essentially, which then pass it along to the consumer, which is you, right? Say, let's do the avocado thing. 5% tariff on avocados coming from Mexico because everybody loves avocados except me. But that's always the example used. It's always, your avocado toast is going to be more expensive. Your guacamole, it's going to be more expensive. Oh, no. So anyway, let's say the avocados cost 5% more. The importer is going to pay that because the exporter is going to raise their price to accommodate, and then the consumer is going to end up paying more for avocados. And oh, no, my guacamole, my burrito at Chipotle is going to cost a nickel more. $2.60 a year if I ate there once a week, which I shouldn't. And we went over all this. That said, the importers, they'll get sick of paying the high prices, and they'll find another place from which to import them. And that's going to hurt Mexico. And Mexico can't afford for their market to get smaller. They have to be in our market. So they're looking down the road saying, 5% might not hurt so much. 10% might be okay, but once you get into 15, 20, 25% tariffs, that's no good. There's a reason that Mexico rushed to the negotiating table. All right, it's not exactly true to sit there and say, you're just pointing a gun at your own head. No, what you're saying is, hey, listen, I can withstand more. This is a game of chicken, is what it is. And that's not always the best because the outcome is never good when you play chicken. But this is more like, hey, who can stand in this ice cold water longer? It's a game. All right, so Donald Trump figures we're in a better position to withstand any negative effects of tariffs, and he's kind of proven right on that front in the negotiation with Mexico. Seriously, before he threatened the tariffs, they weren't doing anything. They were essentially just moving out of the way. Olay! Like Roger Dorn playing third base for the Indians in 1989 in Major League. This Olay! Just letting them all through. But now they're getting in front of the ball. 6,000 National Guard troops. And that was their first offer. That's it. And Donald Trump was like, all right, we're not there yet. We'll continue to negotiate. But that's pretty good, just on the threat of tariffs. These things will go in effect Monday if they don't come up with a deal. So the tariffs don't even have to go into effect. It's the threat of tariffs. And so a lot of these guys say, you know what, I'm among them, man. I'm guilty of it. I question the tactics. I'll sit there and say, oh, Trump doesn't know what he's doing. All these tariffs are no good. But now look at it. Big day of the stock market because people think, maybe it's going to get worked out. You can't really trust that stock market, man. You can't really do it. I mean, I know there are people who make their money, day trading or whatever. You're living off your retirement 401k, that it does affect like in real time. But for me personally, I'm 40 years old. Anything I got in the stock market is in retirement. I can't touch that for 25 years. It's completely irrelevant. If I look at my 401k on a good day, it doesn't matter because a billion things are going to happen between now and when I can touch the money. So I look at it as like, we'll see. We'll see in the year 2045, 2046, when I can actually touch the money, what the stock market is doing. So can't go by the stock market. Jobs report, a little softer than expected. Unemployment still at 3.6%. But the cool thing is that the threat of tariffs on Mexico, they're having the exact effect that Donald Trump wanted them to have. I mean, they've already offered to send 6,000 National Guard troops. Maybe the number's 10. Maybe there's more with the administrative side of the asylum seekers than Donald Trump needs. So we'll see how that works out. I'm more of a free trader. Hey, open up all the markets and then let everybody compete, and that's better for everyone. But when you're in the position, when you need some sort of incentive to make people do what you need them to do, and honestly, I don't think that it's too much to ask that our trading partner and neighbor to the south enforce their borders and not just let Guatemalans and Hondurans, roving bands of migrants, just come up right through their country and them do nothing. That's what he's saying essentially. He's like, hey, you need us. You need to be in our market. But if you're not going to do things that are conducive to us being able to get our border secured and maintain the safety and order in our country, then we're not going to be such good trading partners. You're not going to like us very much. So why don't you go back, draw up something, bring it to the table, and we'll get this thing worked out. And hopefully that's the way it'll go down. It's ugly. It's ugly. You don't want to see sausage and laws. Sausage and laws. You don't want to watch those be made because it's ugly. It's an ugly process. Sometimes you got to threaten people. You got to threaten them. Say, hey, look, I'm gonna tariff the hell out of you if you don't do things the way I need you to do them. All right, and this is a market you need to be in. We don't need your avocados that bad. We'll get to the point we'll make our own auto parts for the American working man because that's who we are and that's who we care about. All right, coming up, I've got, Dracula's balls found in Bulge area? What? That can't be right. Greg, is this right? Dracula's balls found in Bulge area? That's Bulgaria. Oh, those are cannonballs. Oh, Dracula's cannonballs found in Bulgaria. I didn't know Dracula had cannonballs. I thought he was a vampire. We'll talk about that next here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
KWAM, The Voice, salutes our Mid-South seniors and a life well lived. Tune into the Earl Farrell for Memphis show every Monday at 4 p.m. as we hear inspiring stories from local seniors. We'll hear from Jake Shore, who at 78 still goes to work every day and heads up an annual Thanksgiving and Christmas Feed the Needy. We'll talk with Linda Mace, who just turned 80 and leads a weekly yoga class for seniors, plus is the founder of Cloud9 Theater Company. And we'll talk with Leo Raymer, who is an active 90-year-old that when he was in his 70s, sailed around the world by himself. Inspiring stories from Mid-South seniors, Mondays at 4, all month long, right here on The Voice, KWAM.
Seniors of today are living much longer than they have in the past. They want to live active, purposeful lives. Providence Assisted Living is a place where seniors are able to downsize and simplify, but not disengage. There's always something fun going on at Providence Assisted Living. Activities such as bingo, trivia, art class, musical performances, and more. Our residents aren't patients, they're our family. With locations in Senatobia, Batesville, Grenada, and Cleveland, Mississippi, find out more on Facebook or stop by the Providence location nearest you.
Looking for a cool way to get a new home comfort system without breaking the bank? The Advantage program from Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning gets you a high-quality home comfort system for one low monthly rate. There's no money down, never a charge for repairs, and seasonal tune-ups are free. Right now, get a new home comfort system as low as $99 a month and no additional charges ever. Call Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning today at 866-EXPERTS or visit ServiceExpertsMemphis.com.
For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS.
See website for license details.
Miracles are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425. Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion. Brown Properties. They specialize in commercial and industrial real estate in all of North Mississippi.
He helped me locate a space and helped me get in so easily. The most professional, most accommodating person that I have ever worked with in my professional career.
I would absolutely recommend Jim Brown very highly. As a matter of fact, he'll be my real estate agent from now into the future for sure.
Hi, I'm Jim Brown with Brown Properties, commercial industrial real estate located in South Haven, Mississippi. Call me at 662-393-2255.
Miracles are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. We're online at KWAMTheVoice.com.
Yes, have some.
And also streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube. You can catch the live stream both on Facebook and YouTube. Just find Nation of Jake, and the podcast will be up and ready for streamer download a little bit later. Give me till about 4:30 or 5 today. Got some stuff to do right after the show. All right, so I was reading, and on Fridays, I like to bring up stuff that you probably won't hear about on other shows. Sure, you'll hear about tariffs. You'll hear about Joe Biden and his flip-flopping. He says he's the same old Joe. No, listen, no matter what I said about the Hyde Amendment, which I supported for 40 years before I was suddenly against it, I'm just the same old Joe. It's like, yeah, we know. You're an unprincipled hack who will say anything to curry favor with a crowd or to get elected. Yeah, you're the same old Joe. This is par for the course. You've never stood for anything in your long career, Joe Biden. So I came across this, and this is fascinating stuff. Dracula's cannonballs from 15th century battle found in Bulgaria. Cannonballs that were purportedly used by Dracula during the 15th century have been discovered in Bulgaria. How about it? The first line of the story is the same as the headline. Researchers have found medieval cannonballs from culverins, an early form of cannon that were most likely used by Wallachian voivode Vlad III Dracula, more commonly known as Vlad the Impaler, during his bloody battle in 1461 with the Ottoman Turks, according to a report in Archaeology in Bulgaria. The discovery was made in Shivtov, a small town in the northern part of the country with a population of just over 37,000, by Professor Nikolai Ovcharov from the National Institute and Museum of... It got cut off. I have no idea what museum he's from. I apologize to Nikolai Ovcharov. What's really interesting is that from the early Ottoman period, we have found cannonballs. We rejoice at those small cannonballs because they are from culverins. That's according to Ovcharov. These were the earliest cannons, which were for the 15th century up until the 16th century. They weren't used after that. These were still very imperfect cannons. That was precisely the time of Vlad Dracula. There is no doubt they are connected with the siege and conquest of Zhistova Fortress by Vlad Dracula in 1461. Culverins are medieval cannons, and Otarov believes these were most likely used during the middle part of the 15th century when Vlad the Impaler was fighting for control of the Zhistov Fortress. The fortress's long history stretches back way beyond Vlad the Impaler. Ovcharov says his team have found inscriptions at the site that mention a cohort from the Roman Empire's First Italian Legion. This stuff goes way back. Way, way back. Way back. And by the way, how awful or badass did you have to be as Vlad Dracula to then inspire Dracula, the vampire? Number one, they called you Vlad the Impaler. So you went around and made it a habit of stabbing. I mean, that's really it. It's like stabbing Vlad. You know Vlad? Oh, stabbing Vlad? Oh my God, that guy is brutal. Goes around just stabbing people, impaling them on anything he can find. We have Ovcharov again. Here we go. We have partially preserved inscriptions from the 4th century AD from the Roman period about a cohort from the First Italian Legion. Our hypothesis is that this is the last period of the Roman presence in this region. We know that they had been a quarter at Novae, but toward the 4th and 5th century AD, as a result of the barbarian invasions, it became indefensible. It was abandoned. The late antiquity fortress that predated the Zhistova fortress was built here. Otarov added that he was amazed that the fortress is so well preserved, noting that the Russians had actually burned it in 1810, effectively ending its use during the Russian-Turkish War. This stuff is crazy. I don't know much about the Russian-Turkish War. I don't know much about Vlad the Impaler. Archaeologists said it's quite possible that Dracula stayed at the fortress after conquering it. The truth is that Vlad Dracula besieged this place, conquered it, and probably also resided here briefly. Excavations at the site will continue until June 15th, and there will be an additional exploration for a period of 1 to 2 years. Following that, Ochavarov said the fortress would be restored. They're going to restore the old fortress. The present excavations are a step in the research of the fortress. I just turned Jamaican. How did that happen? Because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know if these guys talk like this. Though he was the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula, Vlad Dracula was perhaps more frightening than the mythical creature. Yeah, he was even worse in real life than Dracula. Count Dracula. Ocharov mentioned in a letter from Vlad Dracula to the King of Hungary, in which Dracula boasts about killing 410 Turks during the battle. Some of them were probably impaled in his style, the researcher stated. He was one of the most meticulous fighters against the Ottoman invasion. He was cruel, but at the end of the day, that was the Middle Ages, and he was allowed those things, Ocharov said during the interview. He probably said it with his accent as well. That's crazy. Like, Vlad the Impaler got the nickname of the Impaler because he was such an efficient and meticulous fighter, killing 410 Turks during battle. Again, this is medieval. And so when they say stuff like, I'm going to get medieval on your ass, they're talking about guys like Vlad the Impaler. He would boast about killing all these Turks, impaling them on sticks, whatever I could find. Anything that was impalable, I was going to stick through it. So this dude was like worse in real life. Because at least with Dracula, Count Dracula, he would wine you and dine you. And he'd be nice to you. He'd suck your blood, and he'd turn you into a vampire and give you eternal life. That doesn't sound as bad as a guy who would just go around, stabbing. Because that's what Vlad the Impaler did. Went around stabbing. And now we know where his balls are. They're in Bulgaria. As they found them. So this guy had cannons. He had sticks. He probably had knives, daggers, anything he could impale you on. He would do it if you weren't killed by the cannonballs they found. I don't know how many they found. I was hoping that Professor Nikolai Ocharov would count them. 1, 2, 3 cannonballs. All right, this bit is over. God, it was over 5 minutes ago. So stupid. All right, we've got the news cruise coming up. A leisurely look at the headlines. Big storms knocking out people's power. We will consult the outage map as we take a leisurely look at those headlines, and we'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News update. President Trump says he's not backing down on enacting tariffs on Mexican goods starting Monday.
Tariffs are a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful word if you know how to use them properly.
The president telling Fox News his fellow Republicans need to get behind this tariff plan to address illegal immigration.
I have senators and others and Pelosi coming out saying, oh, how horrible. What they're doing is they're hurting a deal. They should be saying, we're with the president. We'll do whatever he wants to do. And Mexico would fold like an umbrella.
CBS's Weijia Jiang.
President Trump defended his plan to impose tariffs on all Mexican imports, confident they will force Mexico to cut off the flow of Central Americans at the southern border. That's despite criticism from those within his own party who say American consumers will suffer. CBS News has learned Mexico offered to deploy 6,000 troops there, but the White House said that was not enough.
CBS News update. I'm Jim Shenedy.
Miracles are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425.
ATC Fitness would like to announce their new partnership with Silver Sneakers. That's right, ATC Fitness now accepts Silver Sneakers members. ATC Fitness is your local, family-owned 24-hour gym. Get started on the right track with their easy-to-follow instructions and demonstrations. Remember, if you are a Silver Sneakers member, come to any ATC Fitness throughout the Mid-South. Check them out online at atcfitness.com to find the nearest location to you.
If you're thinking about retirement, you've got to know it's all about income. Your money making money. The Retirement Income Doctor wants to teach you how it's done. Give us a call and we'll send you a free animated video kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848-2-INCOME. And tune us in, The Retirement Income Doctor, Saturday mornings at 10. Call now for your free income kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848-2-INCOME.
Planning for retirement can be confusing and overwhelming. Tune into the Servant Retirement Show to hear the current news and events today's retirees need to know. Every Saturday morning at 8 on KWAM, The Voice, AM 990. If you want to talk to Dan Groban or Philip Menard today about your retirement plans, call the team at Servant Advisors Group, 855-260-1000. That's 855-260-1000. Get started on the path toward a comfortable retirement today. 855-260-1000.
This is Clark Howard. There are multiple suits going on right now against Apple, including one Apple just lost in the U.S. Supreme Court about price fixing, using monopoly power to rip you off if you use an iPhone when you buy apps in the App Store for your iPhone. Well, I want you to know that these suits may take longer to be resolved than people would like, and you may still get gouged if you buy apps or subscribe to services through the App Store. The way around this, if you use an iPhone, is to go to the website of whatever service you want to use. As an example, Spotify or any app you want to buy, go to their website, buy the app or subscribe to it at their website, and then do the free download of the app on the iPhone, and you'll end up typically saving 30% on your purchase doing it that way.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's Home Advisor. Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, and even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
Home Advisor. Chuck Woolery here for Blue Emu. How many pain relief ads do you hear daily? 5, 10, 15? And of course, all of them claim their new ingredient or their new formula will help. Blue Emu has maintained the same quality year after year and continues to be the #1 branded emu oil product. So don't trust hype. Trust Blue Emu to support healthy muscles and joints. Choose Blue Emu pain relief products. They work fast and you won't stink.
Available at retailers nationwide.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We are streaming live on Facebook. We are streaming live on YouTube. And we'll have the podcast up in just a little bit. A lot of big news today. We talked about Joe Biden's big old massive flip-flop on the Hyde Amendment. All right, this is a position that he's taken for 40 years. And he decided that since he got a lot of Twitter backlash and backlash from some progressive groups that he no longer supports the Hyde Amendment. It doesn't even matter what the Hyde Amendment is about. All you have to know is that Joe Biden had a position that he defended consistently for 40 years. And within 24 hours, he changed his position because of the heat that he took from the far left. That's all you have to know. That's a massive flip-flop. And Joe Biden probably wears socks with his flip-flops. Just putting that out there. The other thing is the tariffs with Mexico. A deadline is approaching. Donald Trump has threatened a 5% tariff on all trade with Mexico until they help out with the border. And they're getting closer to a deal on that. And the stock market is responding. It's bumped up. It's like one of the biggest days in a year because they think it's going to get worked out, and it probably will. So those are the main headlines of today. The main stories, most of the coverage is going to be on those things, but we've got some other headlines to get to, and we do that in the news cruise. Nothing too intense. Just a leisurely look at the headlines brought to you by our friends at Just Windows Home Services.
News. Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The news cruise. Full of exciting news. The news cruise. So relax and kick off your shoes.
All right, welcome aboard the news cruise brought to you by Just Windows Home Services. They do it all at Just Windows Home Services, not just windows, screens, chandeliers, ceiling fans. You got light bulbs way up high. They can change those out for you. Pressure washing, especially this time of year, is great. Clean out your gutters and keep mosquitoes from breeding up there. Also some ants and all kinds of bugs and nastiness. And then you get big storms like we had. You got to keep those gutters clear, or it can cause you all kinds of problems with your foundation or your home. So make sure you call Just Windows Home Services at 751-3934. That's 751-3934. Tell them you heard about Just Windows in the Nation of Jake, and you'll get 20% off your free estimate. So there you have it, justwindowsmemphis.com. Yeah, the storms last night, I woke up at about 2:37 or so. I remember looking at the clock going, oh man, this rain just won't stop. And it wouldn't. And it was heavy and thunderstorms. Kids slept right through it, by the way. But those storms knocked out power for thousands of mid-southerners. As of 4:30 a.m., 5,858 people were without electricity. The hardest hit areas appeared to be out east, Germantown, Collierville, and also in downtown and along I-240. MLGW crew's been working all day, probably still working to restore everyone to full power. I'm almost certain that they're almost there, but more storms on the way all weekend. So, like I said, stay inside or get a boat. Looks like Memphis and Shelby County, the Film Commission, they are looking for crew members to work on Bluff City Law, the NBC legal drama, which has been picked up for 10 episodes, and now they need, I guess, what do you need? Grips? You need crew members. You need a best boy. You absolutely need a best boy and a key grip. That's mainly what you need. I wonder if they need somebody to help with the theme song to Bluff City Law, because I can help out there. I got one. Here it goes. I thought I had one. It's Bluff City Law. It's Bluff City Law, y'all. Definitely not Law and Order. It takes place in Memphis. It's Bluff City Law, man. What do you think? That could work. That dog will hunt, as they say. Actually, Carmen on Facebook, she said, Jake, I think you're cool, but that Bluff City Law theme song's pretty rough. Needs work. And I would agree. You know, maybe somebody's listening from the Shelby County Film and Television Commission, and they think they can get that in front of somebody. I think that maybe they're already familiar. That's the thing. It's about familiarity. People like things they already know, and everybody already knows that theme. And NBC already owns that theme. So I think it'd be perfect. Oh, check this out. You see this story? Memphis Animal Services has asked for help after they say an animal hoarding situation has brought in 40 dogs to the already full Memphis Animal Shelter. Animal Services Director Alexis Pugh says the dogs were kept in horrible conditions in a Berkeley home, but investigators don't know how long the abuse has been going on. All the dogs are either German Shepherds or Shepherd mix. They were kept in individual kennels with layers of feces. Oh! In one case, the feces was up to a dog's elbow. Other issues include kennel stress, which typically means the dogs were left in these kennels for extremely long periods of time. Sadly, one dog appears to have chewed off his own tail. Good God. Pugh says the problem was discovered when a neighbor called to complain. Officials asked the homeowner to correct the issue, but that allegedly didn't happen, so Memphis Animal Services and the Memphis Police Department seized the dogs last night. At the time, the homeowner, Bonnie Marr Hazel, was taken into custody and charged with aggravated cruelty to animals. In a Facebook post, MAS asked if people would be willing to adopt a foster dog for a few days or more. Anyone who wants to adopt a dog can do so by visiting the shelter Friday morning, this morning, or during adoption hours, which is noon to 4. So, about an hour and 15 minutes. All adoptions are $19 through Sunday. And that is not a lot of money if you want to help out. If you're a dog lover, you get these dogs out of squalor. They're already full. And, you know what happens when they're full. So, that's people like that. I don't understand how anybody could ever have 40 dogs in their residence. There's got to be a pretty sizable place to even do that. 40 kennels full of dog crap with dogs elbow deep in it, chewing off their own tails. That's horrendous. That would make Vlad the Impaler go, oh my God, you're disgusting. I stab people, but you keep dogs in their own feces in kennels. You're disgusting. It's pretty awful, and I'm sure that that person has some sort of problem. I've seen those hoarders shows. Hoarders and pet hoarders. Usually, hoarders have disorders. That's a rhyme, by the way. I just made that up. We've got 2 people injured when a horse got spooked at the Germantown Charity Horse Show. I know the Germantown Horty, what is that? That sounds awful. I know the Germantown Charity Horse Show as heavy metal parking lot from high school. That's where we used to have to park. If you went to Germantown High School in the 90s, you had to park at the Germantown Charity Horse Show grounds and then walk over to the school because there was such a parking problem. A lot of kids went to Germantown in the 90s. But they say a horse trainer and the horse's owner are recovering after an accident at the Germantown Charity Horse Show. This has been going on, I think, the 4th through the 8th. The accident happened after the horse got spooked and started running out of control. The 2 people injured by the runaway horse were both taken to the hospital. We're told the trainer ended up with a broken rib and a cracked hip. That sounds serious. Here's the thing about horses. I've ridden horses before. I know that Earl Farrell has a fair amount of experience with horses. You can't get too comfortable around a horse because that animal is so big and so powerful, and no matter how docile it is, it's still an animal, and it can still be scared, and if a horse kicks you or decides to run over you, it's going to do what it wants.
Well, that's the danger is that when they do get spooked, they're going to go where they want to go to get away from whatever scared them. If the one they love the most is you and you're in the way, they're going to run over you.
Right, and we're talking about a horse trainer and a horse owner.
And they knew
These
the
are
horse.
people with a lot more experience with horses than Earl and I have.
What they probably try to do is stop it from getting away and hurting somebody else.
Man.
And that's when you get hurt.
I remember my cousin Daryl, my grandparents had a pasture out back, and 4 horses were there for some time, and a donkey. And so there was one horse, quarter horse, big, strong girl named Sable. And I remember my cousin Daryl, who was a big, strong guy himself, he was corralling the horses, getting them up, getting them fed, getting them saddled, whatever it was. And man, Daryl, this big old strong guy, has this horse by the bridle. Something spooks Sable and just flings Daryl around like a rag doll. Daryl might as well not even have been there.
Yep.
It was these horses. That's why I stay away from them. They're ugly. I hate their teeth.
Oh.
No, they are. They are. Horses, their
Not
faces.
ugly.
I mean, sometimes their coats and stuff, they do them all up. But you ever looked into a horse's mouth?
I love horses.
Not as a gift. But horses, their teeth are always jacked.
They got big smiles.
They got to get some dentistry going on, some horse braces.
You're just looking at them with the wrong lens, man.
Yeah, they're disgusting. Here we've got University of Memphis is starting a culinary institute. The old L'École Culinaire facility in Cordova. I guess they are going to commission that. This will be part of the Kemmons Wilson School of Hospitality and Resort Management. So yeah, man, that's about time. Big old school like that. You got some people who want to learn how to
classrooms that have the cooking facilities.
Heck yeah.
got
I
a
mean,
restaurant in
learning
there.
how to cook, like, in high school, you always, your home ec kids or whatever it was, all shop kids, learn how to cook and learn how to work on your own car. 2 things you need to know how to do. Let's see, everything. Oh, yeah, here we go. We'll leave it with this. Dr. John, down in New Orleans, has passed away. You know Dr. John.
Absolutely.
It was in the right place, but it must have been around time. And he was kind of like, he reminded me, growing up, I watched a lot of The Muppet Show. You know, the guy, the gold tooth guy from The Muppet Show. Yeah. The soul, piano player. Hey, everybody, that's Dr. John. He had that song, the right place, wrong time, whatever it was. Right place, but the wrong time.
Dr. John on the Medicine Show?
Yeah, Dr. John. He's, the New Orleans soul guy. He's kind of like a legend. That dude, psychedelic rock. His brand that only he could do. He's passed away at the age of 77.
Young.
Yeah, for him. You were the right place, but been around time. I thought he was just like an eternal being. I didn't know he had an age. If you told me he died 20 years ago, I would believe you. But that's sad. I mean, it's very sad that he's gone. Dr. John down in Nolens. All right, we're going to wrap things up with a little more hate mail. A couple of hate mails about the bird scooters downtown. And we're going to do that and get you set up for the Earl Farrell program. We'll do it all next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs, those little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
KWAM, The Voice, salutes our seniors all month long. Baby boomers are hitting retirement with vitality and vigor that's redefining how senior communities are designed and health care is administered. Estimates show that by 2050, there'll be 83.7 million people 65 and older. On average, seniors are the most affluent demographic in America, with seniors having 5 times the net worth of the average American. Today's seniors are redefining aging. They'll play games remotely with their grandkids or read the news on their iPads. In America, seniors use more internet than any other age group. KWAM salutes our seniors. Brought to you by
Momentum Community Care Services, 875 West Poplar Avenue, Suite 23 in Collierville. Appella, specialized foster care and in-home personal care. To learn more, visit appella.org.
Appella is a nonprofit organization that is committed to the promotion of independence among their clients. Many seniors are not ready or do not need to move to an assisted living facility, but they need some help to continue living in their own homes. Appella's team of care specialists provide assistance with daily tasks that become difficult as our bodies age. Appella is locally operated and serves the North Mississippi area. Call them today at 662-429-3652 or visit appella.org.
Renew, refresh, and rejuvenate in Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses. After surgery or a hospital stay, you want to get back to your normal lifestyle. If you can't recover at home, Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses provide the transitional care you need to heal mind, body, and spirit. Experienced staff offer physical therapy, speech, and occupational therapy. Enjoy private suites, chef-prepared meals, therapy garden, and more. Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211. Live your later years like you're on a fabulous vacation at the Robinwood Retirement Community Bartlett. If you are over 55, come and find out about an all-inclusive resort-style living. Month-to-month rent, meals, paid utilities, free cable, phone, and internet are included. Freedom dining, weekly housekeeping, and fitness center are just a few of the amenities offered. Elegant floor plans include full kitchens. Robinwood is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. Call 901-381-8949 to find the perfect place for you.
Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion.
This is it.
Yes, have some.
Welcome back to it. It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube and Facebook for a few minutes more. I got to get into it now. Brought up Dr. John, R.I.P. Nobody like Dr. John. This is the only song I know by Dr. John. But right place, but I must have been around time. I was doing cocaine, but I must have sniffed the wrong line. Right place. And Dr. John passed away at 77. That's a song. When you're a little kid, there's two songs you love. Is this one? I was in the right place, but I must have been around town. And also, Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon. Little kids love that. And Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas? Is that his name? Carl something. Anyway, those are all goofy songs. But yes, R.I.P. to Dr. John, as you heard in the news crews, passed away at the age of 77. We got a few more minutes, so I want to go over some more of the old hate mail. Ah, yes, there's so much overflowing my hate mail sack. All right, there's a few here on here that I think that Earl can help me with.
Shoot.
Maybe not this one. Here we go. Tim, all the way in North Carolina, I guess, watching on YouTube. He says, Jake, don't believe the FBI's Bigfoot files. They're only telling you what they want you to know. Sasquatch is the real. Yeah, I believe you, Tim. Look, I have no doubt that the FBI is withholding information with regards to Sasquatch. I'm sure that you have seen him. He made his way all the way from the Pacific Northwest all the way to North Carolina. I would not doubt it. I mean, they released a 22-page report on Bigfoot. They said that they tested hairs that were sent in from the Bigfoot Society out of Oregon, a guy named Peter Byrne, and assistant director of the FBI's lab division at the time, a guy named Cochran. He said, no, those are from deer. Those are deer hairs.
Not
what you've
Bigfoot.
sent in.
Not Bigfoot.
Not Bigfoot. It might have been a meal that Bigfoot enjoyed, but it was not Bigfoot Sasquatch himself. I don't believe in Sasquatch, as they say. We've also got a couple here on about the scooters. We have Jake. Easy solution to your scooter problem. Don't ride them. Also, stay out of downtown. That's Carla, who is from downtown.
She's threatening you.
Sounds like it. I mean, it's all in capital letters. Stay out of downtown.
She's yelling at you.
Listen, all I said was that they're getting a little bit junky, man. People are riding them around and just leaving them wherever they want. Look, it is somebody's prerogative if they want to ride around on a little death scooter and then, zip themselves over a crack in the asphalt and then get in front of a car and be killed. That's fine. It's fine. That's your choice. I'm just saying I'm not getting on one. But if I'm walking down the sidewalk, I don't want to be zipped and buzzed by people on little scooters, and I sure as hell don't want to step over a bunch of them. Well, yeah, it's just they've got to come up with a solution and get out in front of it.
But she says don't come downtown anymore.
Yeah, she says stay out of downtown. Yeah. Now, she says if I've got a problem with the scooters, she's obviously a scooter enthusiast. And I realize I just said something about...
is what she is.
She roots for the scooters.
Yeah,
she's
she's
a scooter rooter. I know. I realize I said something about cracking the asphalt. And I know people get a kick out of that when I say, cracking the asphalt. Whatever. And then finally, we've got Jake. I'm a total lardass, and I can ride those scooters just fine. And that is from Brent in Midtown.
But Brent's probably 20, 19.
Brent's probably a big boy, but he's probably well distributed. I was not saying that all obese people, Brent, have got a problem on the scooters. I'm talking about top-heavy folk. Because it's hard. You get on those scooters, you don't realize, those things, they start wobbling, then they get away from you. It's right over one of those cracks in the asphalt. All right. I'm about ready to go. Start enjoying my weekend. I want to get out in my boat. Start paddling home. It's supposed to be raining all weekend, so be safe, have fun. If your power goes out, go bum some electricity off a friend. Earl Farrell's up next, 3:06, right after the top of the hour CBS News. And I'll be back Monday at 1 right here on The Voice. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
CBS News at the top of every hour, serving